first item be the approval of minutes of the December 18th meeting. Received a copy of those. Anybody note any errors or omissions?
Now, when I make a motion to approve the minutes from December 18th.
I have a motion by Mayor Debbie and a second by Chairman Austin to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Next item is the approval of financial statement. Received a copy of that. Is there a motion on the approval of the financial statement?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Underwood. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Shipp. Any discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Reports and updates. Jamie Gilbert has asked to be moved up. He has a guest with him that has to leave by 11 or so today. So the first thing we'll hear is a report from Paulding Economic Development Organization with Jamie Gilbert.
Thank you, Chairman Austin. I wanted to introduce you to someone who I believe is going to be critically important to our economic development success in the future. And I have with you today Dane Pryor, and Dane is partner in Panatone Development. He runs the Atlanta office for Panatone. To give you a little bit of background before Dane makes some comments, back in June of 2011, I was about 3 months into being the executive director here. And as we looked at what some of our issues were, product development was key. So I had been introduced to Dane, or to Panatone, Mike Ray, who used to run the operation before Dane, and had met with him to talk about what Panatone as a developer could do to help us with some of the sites we had out here in Paulding County. Panatone is the largest industrial developer in the U.S., and they're the largest industrial developer in Atlanta. And we started working with Dane, or with Panatone, in June of 2011, introduced him to the IBA, the company, in the fall. And in February of 2012, when we first met with Interroll, Panatone was very helpful in providing some site plans and information for what is now the Paulding Commerce Park. Once we got the initial meeting with Interroll, they got to work in drawing up a very detailed plan for the facility and helping us find an architect that could do the project. Then we then met with the President of North American Operations for the second time, President of North American Operations for Interroll the second time, as well as their VP of Manufacturing. And we had Panatone at that meeting. We had the architectural renderings of the facility. We had the site plan. And the reason we engaged Panatone to be part of that process is we realized that, while Lake has engaged in development out here, and I've worked development projects in the past, in order to get Interroll to have a comfort level with Paulding County and with that park, we wanted to have someone at the table that was an international developer that had done industrial projects all over Atlanta and the U.S. and the world. They have facilities and locations in Germany and throughout Europe. And so we felt that was going to be extremely important to Interroll in giving them the confidence that this project could get done. And they were extremely helpful. In fact, Panatone went to Germany and toured some of the facilities for Interroll to get a sense for what this facility should actually look like. So they were extremely helpful. They coordinated the development of the Interroll building, acting as the developer for it, and hiring Arco Construction, which ultimately built the building. So I want to introduce to you Dane Pryor. Dane's going to make some comments to you about the relationship we have and where we expect to go with the Paulding Commerce Park and attracting more companies to it. Dane.
Thanks, Jamie. Afternoon, or late morning anyway. Good to see you all, and appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself. I'm Dane Pryor with Panatone Development Company. I'm the partner for the Atlanta office, and I've been with Panatone Development for 15 years. And Panatone, as Jamie mentioned, we are a private company that's based in California. We have operations in Europe, Canada, and about 14 offices in North America. And our primary business is really build-to-suits for large corporations and and just serving those clients and serving their needs throughout the country. And we have multiple companies that we've done multiple projects with and have a ongoing relationship with a lot of those tenants. You know, Pantone has been just a resource for Paulding County and the Paulding Commerce Park to help Jamie and Blake, you know, attract business to Paulding County, and we want to continue to do that and serve a role as we can. We are just here as a resource to continue to try to attract new business to Paulding County. So just wanted to introduce myself to you all, and appreciate the efforts that Blake and Jamie have made. They've done a great job in getting this park started, and Interroll is certainly a fabulous company to kick off the park. And we're seeing a lot more activity in the market right now. You know, historically, we've been known to build very large bulk warehouse buildings in the million square foot range, and so that's sustained us through the downturn, working on build-to-suits for large corporations like that. And those were the companies that were making the financial decisions to make capital investments in long-term assets like buildings. And what we're seeing now is a lot of the smaller companies emerge and have the confidence and the financial wherewithal to, you know, to make those financial decisions to build buildings and expand their businesses. And so we just look forward to continuing the good relationship that we've had with Paulding County, and again, be a resource for you all in attracting the business that your team has already done a great job at doing. So.
Thank you, and we do appreciate the relationship we've enjoyed and the assistance you provided in helping to bring international companies and get international attention to Paulding County.
Sure. Absolutely. One of the things that Jamie and I have been talking about also is just figuring out how to best market Paulding County Commerce Park. And so we are talking to a number of different brokerage firms that have national and international ties that can provide, be an additional resource for these guys. So we've been talking to a few of those folks. We're probably going to interview a couple of companies to consider marketing and listing the properties for sale, so or for lease, or whatever the most attractive option is for bringing new business here. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie, do you have further comments on
Just real quick.
And Wayne, you can be using time you need.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
The next few months are going to be very, very busy with marketing and promoting Paulding County. We've just finished up an advertisement that's going into a national industry publication called Modern Material Handling. The important thing about Modern Material Handling is it goes to 80,000 subscribers, and that publication is going to be distributed at the MODEX show, and it's coming out prior to the MODEX show, which is here in Atlanta. Interroll, in talking with them, said this is the premier magazine for hitting the companies that are in the packaging, machinery industry supply chain network, which is what Interroll is part of. So this ad is going to be on the same page as Interroll's ad. So it's a great way of co-marketing both Interroll and Paulding County to a huge group of industrial businesses. The next thing is preparing our trade show booth that we will have at MODEX, which is March 17th through the 20th here in Atlanta. And so again, we're in the same row as Interroll, and all that cross-marketing will be done and promoting Paulding County, and we hope to generate some very good leads out of that show. But the next 2 months is going to be spent really focusing on who's coming to that show, who the customers and suppliers are to Interroll, and making sure that we target them, because Interroll has said from the beginning that they want to help us build out that park by bringing in their customers and suppliers. So it's going to be a very important event, strategic event, plus the grand opening, which is going to be held Sunday evening, the 16th, with them bringing in 300 people from MODEX. They're going to be shuttling them up from the Georgia World Congress. That's great exposure for the park. So we're very, very excited about that. The other event that's going to be happening is at the end of this month, I will be going to the International Poultry Expo here in Atlanta. And again, identifying companies. I have a meeting with Simmons Engineering, which is a large manufacturer of poultry equipment within the business. They have about 25, 32 employees here, but they're very significant within the poultry supply network. So I'm meeting with them today to find out what companies we should be looking at, who some of their connections are, and they're going to help us with that. So Interroll is going to give us a customer supplier list, which we'll be able to cross-reference to with the show. So a lot of marketing in the next 30 to 60 days for Paulding County at different events.
Thank you. Any member of the board have questions or comments for Jamie?
Thank you both.
Report on film studios. Blake?
Not a whole lot new to add. Still a tremendous amount of activity. It seems like 2014 is starting off very, very busy. We have done some site visits and met with some site scouts over the last couple of weeks. The scout that brought us the Get Low movie and also brought us Good Lies was here last week. Met with him for a while. Also have met with a couple of scouts who hadn't been here before, so we are getting some new exposure to some new folks. We did have some maintenance issues that we had to take care of at the film studio over the last 30 days. Having some problems with the exterior lighting on the original building, not the new facility that we built, but on the original building. We're having some real issues with, for some reason, the exterior lighting was not working correctly, and we were starting to see some activity take place on the weekends and in the evenings around the building that we didn't like, finding some bottles and things laying around. So we did have a contractor come out, electrical contractor come out and take care of those lighting problems. It's about a $1,400 fix to get all those exterior lights working, but now when you drive by in the evening hours, you'll see the building lit up like a Christmas tree, so that should take care of any issues that we were having with folks kind of hanging around that shouldn't have been hanging around. Any questions?
All right. Update on the corporate hangar.
We've got Branson here from Prime, who'll give us an update on the schedule from the hangar. Once he's done with that update, I've got some information for you on the request for proposal on the lease for the hangar.
We are going to start Monday going vertical with this deal. We finally got some nagging issues out of the way, taken care of. So they're putting things on the slab now. We got all the missing material except for 4 pieces. They're supposed to be in the end of this week. And like I said, we'll go vertical with that. Say in probably about 2 weeks, we'll have the shell up on the hangar and hopefully get it done. Any questions?
On the RFP, we talked last month about putting out a request for proposal on the lease for the facility. That did come out in the paper last week, so it is out, and we have sent it to some individuals who had made inquiries on the building. So we know of several companies that have that RFP and that are interested in submitting. We have a deadline of January the 22nd for questions for us to respond to on the RFP, and the RFPs are due in our office on the 29th. So prior to next month's meeting, we will have the RFPs and hopefully have been able to select a preferred entity for that lease. Doesn't mean that we'll necessarily have the lease negotiated and have the contract documents done by next month, but we should at least have it narrowed down to the entity that we're going to be executing those documents with, so that we can get the negotiations on the lease and the contract done. So any questions on that, or if you know of anyone who may need a copy of that RFP, then please let me know.
Dallas Industrial Park.
Not a lot of new activity on the Dallas Industrial Park. Still working on the lift station. We are still trying to identify a leak that we have in the force main coming out of the pump station. So that work has continued. As all of you know, the weather since the middle of last month has been absolutely horrible. So the ground has either been completely saturated